We're thought partners in creating artPLAY. I feel like, Dan, you really teed it up for us because the program is Reggio-inspired. We say Reggio-inspired, we say Dewey, right? Dewey's a huge part of our program, constructivism. We are fortunate to be individuals and to have the freedom in our classrooms to pursue what the children are interested in. As Dan was saying, we can extend the thinking, we can provoke the thinking in the child, but it does come from the child, it's emerging from the child. The show is a result of our work together. Maureen was 10 years ago willing to give me a chance to do what I wanted to do in the studio with the kids. And the work that we've done together has been joyful. We've seen amazing growth. And 10 years ago, we were in Woodlawn, and
which was before there was
this
Earl Shapiro
facility.
Hall. It's the old Victorian house a few blocks away on campus.
2 mansions. And some of the nursery was housed in Blaine, the historic campus here, in the original part of the building. And then we moved to Gordon Park's Art Hall. We moved to ESH. And so the campus really became divided. We felt as teachers at ESH. And so the show is a way to kind of bring the 2 communities back together in a very tangible way for those teachers here and students here to see what is happening over at ESH. Getting back to the classroom. So it was important for us to for the teachers that participated in the show, not to make art for this show, for artPLAY, but to just let their curriculum emerge. And we have something at Lab called Lab Arts, and teachers usually produce work for that show, and it's amazing. But part of what makes us unique is, at Lab, is this beginning of play, of the emerging curriculum, letting the child be the force that decides what they're interested in, and trusting the teacher to actually be able to extend that interest. And the show is a result of that. It took a lot of courage on the teachers' parts to allow us to come into their classroom, to see what they were doing, and to find ways to unite all of us, Nursery 3, Nursery 4, and kindergarten. That's how many classes?
18.
Number, it's 18.
There's 18 classrooms represented there.
So, and there is something from every class. And in Reggio, mediums are really important, and we are a believer in the 100th language. We believe that mediums come in all forms, and that's one reason why you see big blocks, and you see Lego bricks, and clay and wood, because that's what children are creating with, and making things with. So those were a few relevant parts.
Yeah, I wanted to add again about the intention of the show. Wendy had said to bring the 2 campuses a way to unite us, but it also, from being at Lab for so long, and because we span from nursery through high school, a lot of our colleagues in high school really have no idea what happens in the beginning of Lab at all. Oh, they see us and they think, oh, they're so cute, they're so cute.
Right.
When, and that's like, as a nursery teacher, it's like the worst thing you could say they're cute, because they're such children with these big ideas, and we have the pleasure of helping their ideas visible. And we wanted our colleagues and the larger community to really understand the importance of the mark making that begins at age 3. And what might look like what some people call scribble, has a whole story that goes with it. And we were really trying to introduce how this begins, and from age 3 to 6, there's a huge developmental shift in what those marks look like. And so that was a big part of the intention of using this space in particular to share the importance of those early years at lab and the marks that they make.
Yeah, and we'd like to open it up to discussion if people have any questions. Sandra, I'm already indebted to Sandra. This show was put together at the end of our school year. Teachers were burnt out, and there's only a bit of documentation in there right now about various pieces. And Sandra said, well, how did the show come together? How did you do this? And we started talking, and she said, you need to document that, and you need to put that out there so that teachers can hear how a show like this can get put together. And people are going to do it differently, but thank you, Sandra. I hope that we can actually put that together before the show is over. Yes.
It's not just documenting the process of the teachers.
Yes.
Which is just done.
Yeah, it's done.
Time and the supports you need, we should have video. But it's giving the teacher a reflection for her growth. When other teachers come into the space,
Right.
they also include something that shows something vital that the teacher understood through the process with the children. Then you begin to understand all the relationships and the value. And I think we too often separate, we talk about silos.
Right.
Doing things in your own classroom, not talking being over the midway, being here. Similarly, teachers can not take time to reflect and share and understand. So you could have a whole nother level of documentation that would be a different gift to the community. And then as a parent of 4 lab school children, all who went through from the first, nursery school, kindergarten, all the way through, there's so much that parents learn in the process if it's articulated.
Right.
And then you can also add what parents learned when they did the God faces, or when they, because they will start replicating stuff with shadows or creating the dream car.
Right.
And you get a whole different relationship at home, and that relates to your point about the role that families play.
Right.
And the respect for each other's learning. And children will actually, if you do workshops where the parents come in and try doing some of the same things,
Yes.
the children love to show their parents and help them. And so then they both experience learning. One, it's not just the parent knows everything, which is probably more Confucius than individualist to me. But it's a lot.
Right.
It's worth taking time to brainstorm it some more.
Yes.
To see what you're starting here. This is such a wonderful beginning.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we have already reflected. There is a group of teachers that came together, about 9 of us, that were thought partners through this. And we've started to reflect on what we've learned through the process.
It's there's always the frustration. There's never enough time for everything you want to do. It's like there's just, you want to do all these things. And of course we have meetings, but Wendy and I, in our reflection of putting this together, and our classroom was kind of the gathering place as these pieces are coming in at the end of the year when everything's crazy. And we're looking at this work of our, classroom 2 doors down. Like, I had no idea they were doing that, and there's something wrong that I don't know that this is happening in down the hallway from me. And we really are trying to think right now, how can we make sure that that learning, that reflecting teacher to teacher is happening, which we're not the best at yet.
Right. The mention of silos.
Yeah.
It's so easy to stay inside your room.
Even in our same building, not just 2 campuses.
And I had the privilege of going from room to room and seeing what was being done in all the classes. And that was, I feel like we should all be doing that as teachers here at Lab. So, but thank you. Thank you.